It's so beautiful. I'm gonna throw up. You know what I mean? You guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I'm so excited for this video because we're talking expensive foundation. We are talking about the new Victoria Beckham Beauty foundation, her foundation drops. And I don't want to undersell the price even a little. It's $110. What do you mean? What are you saying? What are you saying to me? We're going to break it down. We're going to do a full try on. We have it on my face right now. We're going to do a full synopsis, a full compare and contrast to the Westman Atelier Complexion Drops. We're going to talk about how it layers. This is going to be a very well-rounded full breakdown video because the price again is $110. What do you mean? That's so expensive. And I know that there are actually a couple of people, at least so far, that have messaged me and been like, hey, should I do it? So I'm going to let you know my thoughts, my qualms if I have any, and also give you my experience of kind of ordering on the website and doing all that jazz. We got to do the whole breakdown. We got to talk about it. I would love to know down below, what other products are you interested in me reviewing? I would love to know down below if there are any products that or brands that you want me to talk about, makeup looks you want me to do. Let me know down below. I love to hear from you guys. Also, if you have used the foundation drops, let us know in the comments what you think down below. I would love to hear from you guys. I've been testing this out for a while. I literally ordered it the second I could take a breath. And it dropped. I ordered it immediately and I've been testing it since. And because it's so expensive, I tested it for way longer than I normally would because I want to make sure you have all the information and that I'm 100% sure about what I'm saying because we're spending hard-earned money on this. We gotta know all the thoughts. So yeah, I just want to jump into this video and get started. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this Victoria Beckham Beauty foundation drop review. Victoria Beckham Beauty foundation drops. Let's jump right in. So what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about the foundation drops. We're going to apply them. We're going to go through all kind of breakdowns of the product. Then we're going to apply makeup on top, just so you can see how it kind of applies and the makeup applies on top and how it kind of looks with other products. Then we're going to compare and contrast to the Westman Atelier, their complexion drops. Let's get into it. I'm excited. So first things first, brows are already on. I used the Victoria Beckham Beauty, their brow product. So I use the Victoria Beckham Beauty brow gel, the clear gel, and then their brow pencil in the shade dark brown. Love. I will say about the brow gel, it takes a second to dry down, but it does dry down. It just takes, it's not like an immediate, you're good to go. It's a little bit wet, so you got to give it maybe like 30 seconds, then you're good. Now let's talk foundation, and I have it here. So it's one that you need to shake, and it does have the patented, I believe it's patented, but I could be incorrect, the TFC at 8, that ingredient that they also have in the concealer. It's a collab with Augustina's Batter, and that is an ingredient that they have in their products that is kind of exclusive to them. So that's pretty cool that brands kind of, it's cool to see brands that do things well collabing with each other. So this is meant to be kind of a skincare makeup product hybrid, and it is meant to have light to medium, kind of medium buildable to medium coverage, and I would definitely say that it has that. So I actually have two shades here because I definitely don't have a perfect match. So I first got the shade 9 because it did look like it would just look a little bit better with my complexion. It was a little bit, it was too yellow, a little bit too yellow. It was too yellow. Then I got the shade 10. So I got the shade 10. I was able to kind of exchange, but they didn't make me return the one that I did have. So I got the shade 10. That is supposed to be more on the neutral side. I do find that it isn't kind of a perfect match either. So I don't have a perfect match there, but that's okay. You can always make stuff work. So I'm going to do actually swatches of both on the back of my hand here, just so that you can see, because I know a lot of people here that watch my videos are my complexion. And what I will say is I'm surprised with how different the shades are. So that is both shades here. So here we have the shade, I believe it's 9. Yeah, this is 9 and this is 10. And you can see that they're very different shades. This is meant to be more of a neutral undertone shade, and this is meant to be more of a golden undertone. Sometimes I can get away with golden, but because my undertone is more on the neutral olive side, it's tough to find a shade match. But that is the 2 shades there. Let me make sure you guys, I know a lot of you are my complexion, so I want to make sure I'm getting good shots for you guys. I'm going to go on with the shade 10 here, and I'm just going to do 2 drops on the back of my hand first. A very little bit of this goes a long way. You really don't need to use a ton. And I find like a dense brush, in my opinion, works best here. You can use a fluffier brush. I prefer a dense brush, which is rare for me with applying foundations. And what I'm going to do is I am going to do a little bit, I just want to show you a little bit of it on my face, just so you can see. These are flexible, so don't feel like, you know, you're kind of stuck. It does blend out, and the more you blend, the more kind of it becomes a little bit more flexible, if that makes sense. The first application is scary, but then once you kind of blend a little bit more, it doesn't end up looking as scary. A little bit more. I still have the 2 drops on the back of my hand and apply it. I'm going to do half my face first, just so that you can see what it's kind of looking like. So that is this face. I don't get a grip. That is this side blended. You have to let me know what you think. And then I'm going to go on with what's on the rest of what's on my hand on this side. And I know it looks scary, but again, it does blend out well, and it does end up matching my hands really well. So that's the important thing. So I do feel like, although I don't feel like it's a perfect match, which of course that's totally fine, it works, and I would have no issue buying this shade again. So we're just gonna blend, and I do have some hyperpigmentation on my face, but I want you to see kind of how it applies. Just 2 drops, and then we can apply more once and kind of let you see how it layers up. So that is the entire face blended. We did, again, 2 drops for the entire face. Now I'm going to go on with a little bit more. I have 1 more drop on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to kind of right in the middle of my face. I have some hyperpigmentation here. And I just want to right here, and just where I feel like I need a little extra coverage, just place it there. But we can always go on with concealer later, which I do want you to see how it blends with concealer on top. And again, I'm going to go on with a denser brush. You can use a lighter brush. I just really like the way it looks when you blend with a more dense brush. And we're just going to kind of tap it into that area and show you kind of how it covers, or not really fully covers, but it does kind of tone down hyperpigmentation marks and all of that. All right, it's fully blended on the face. What do you guys think? You have to let me know. Shade match and all of that. Now, again, it's not a perfect shade match for me by any stretch of the imagination. I do feel like the shade 10, mainly with like a drop of the shade 9, that one is kind of, that mix there is a way better shade match for me. But I wanted to show you it, like the actual shade on my face, because no one's going in to buy 2 $110 foundations, because yes, it's $110, and that is very, very, very expensive. And I just want to say that it is pricey. And I know it has all the skincare ingredients in it. And I think that if you only are going to get one foundation, the price might warrant it for you. But I want to make sure that you guys don't think I think that's normal, because I don't. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go on with concealer before I go on with the rest of my makeup really quick. And then we're going to break down all the stuff about the foundation, my thoughts. I've been using it for a while now. I wanted to really test it out and give you like a full breakdown, and then compare and contrast to the Westman Atelier. So now we're going to go on with the concealer, and my shade in the concealer is the shade M1, I believe. Yeah, it's M1. And I'm going to do, I don't know why I clicked it so much. So it's like a pen. Place it right here under my eyes. It's a decent shade match for the foundation, I would say. Just place it here. What I like to do is I do like to let this sit for a little bit. So I'm going to let it sit maybe a minute to 2 minutes. We're going to let this sit, marinate, dry down a bit, then blend it out. But I don't find that this concealer creases or anything, which to me is bananas, because it's also like skincare-y. So anything that's skincare-esque, I'm like, okay, it's going to be more on the dewy side, and also it's going to be more on the gonna crease side, but this doesn't crease, it's wild. So again, gonna let this sit for about another minute because I've been talking for ever, and then we're gonna blend it out. All right, concealer has sat long enough, so now we're gonna blend it out. I like to do it with, you can do it with your fingers. I like to do it with a brush, but however you like to blend out your concealer is fine. It works both ways with this. I just prefer a brush in general. So I'm going to use this brush here. This is the Mario F4 and the small side. And I'm going to, you know what, let's just do a close-up mirror. And I'm going to blend with the brush. And I'm just going to tap it in. Concealer is on. I would love to know what you think of the finish. I did my regular skin prep for this. I would love to know what you feel of the coverage, what you feel of the shade match, all that. Now what I want to do is I do want to talk a little bit about the foundation, let you kind of see how it sits in the hot studio lights that I have on, and then we're going to apply the makeup. So let's talk about this foundation because we got a lot we got to talk about. So this is a light to buildable to medium coverage foundation, and I would say that's pretty accurate. It doesn't give you full coverage, right? Like you can see right here, I have a little bit of hyperpigmentation, and even in my eyebrow area, a little bit of hyperpigmentation that is still holding on strong. You guys gotta get out of here. But it didn't fully cover it, and that was not the expectation. It just toned it down and it evened out the complexion really well, and it has nice coverage. My preference in coverage is generally around the medium coverage, light to medium coverage, and this definitely has that. This definitely has a bit of a luminous finish, and that is also what they claim. In my opinion, I don't get crazy. I have an oily T-zone. I have combo skin for reference, oily T-zone. It doesn't get super oily, like at all on me, or break apart, especially my nose area. I feel like foundation always fades really quickly in my nose area. It's still on by the end of the day, and if I do have some redness, or I did a little bit of extra coverage on, let's say, something like this, it's still covering it by the end of the day, which is interesting. It does say 12-hour wear, and I would say that is accurate, which is surprising to me for something that is more skincare-esque. Because that just in general, it just feels like in general skincare-esque makeup products tend to fade a little bit quicker. I don't find that with the foundation or the concealer, which shocked me. And if anyone here that is watching this has tried it, you have to let me know down below if you agree, because I actually am really impressed with the wear of this product. Again, I don't have any breaking apart across the nose. I don't have any sinking into any fine lines, even under my eyes with the concealer, but sinking into any fine lines that I might have around my face. And I don't feel like it highlights any dryness. And I do have some eczema right now. And anytime I transition between seasons, the eczema's flaring up. So between summer and fall, all of a sudden my skin started freaking out, and it's not clinging to any of the dryness from the eczema and from the breakouts that I did have, and then also this bug bite that just bit me and left. And now I'm just left with the evidence, and it's not clinging to that either. And this is a little bit more on the dry side, specifically this one. And it just looks really, really nice. And I don't feel super dewy or oily or anything. I will say that if you do have more of a your entire face is oily, you just make sure to powder, because I do feel like by the end of the day, on some people, maybe not all, but on some people, it might get a little bit more dewy than you would like. Now let's talk shade range. So there are 19 shades in this entire range. Again, I don't feel like I have a perfect match, but you have to let me know. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm just crazy and this is a perfect match. But they do have 19 shades, and they are meant to be flexible. So in that 19 shades, the shades are meant to kind of stretch across a few maybe different complexions, but really the main focus should be the undertone. So that in general is always kind of what I like to do. I like to focus on undertone. I'm going to put the swatches on the screen that they had on the arms. I did find the swatches to be a little bit confusing for at least my brain. I had such a hard time picking a shade, and then when I landed with 9, I felt like, okay, it should probably be fine. It ended up being a little bit too yellow on me, so the shade 10 is definitely a better match, and you saw the swatches on the back of my hand. Again, it has that ingredient from Augustina's batter. It's, what is it, the tea, why don't I look it up before I say it incorrectly? TFC8, and they did a whole clinical trial with it, and people were saying that they felt like it did a really good job at minimizing fine lines, helping kind of with just overall complexion, which is, that's really great when foundations, concealers, skincare-esque foundation products or complexion products can help over time with what's going on in your face. Now, what I will say is it is very expensive because it has that ingredient and because it's a collab with Augustina's batter. $110 is, she is spicy. That is very expensive, and I'm very aware. I actually do see, this is what's annoying about it, is I do really like it. I do really, really, really enjoy it. And I really like the way that my complexion looks, the way that it wears throughout the day. The only negative thing I have to say about this is the price. $110 is bananas. But besides that, it looks so skin-like. Like, I'm going to get a humbling mirror. It looks like nothing on the skin. I don't know how to explain it. Even the under eyes, even the concealer, which also is very expensive. And you unfortunately don't get that much product with the concealer. With the foundation, you get a good amount of product. So that at least is there. But when you look at my complexion, and I'm going to try and get like a nice zoomed in shot. When you look at my complexion, I'm going to move the mirror so that it's a good zoom in. No pores, no anything. To be fair, I don't really have big pores, but I do get some texture around my face here, and I do have some texture right here, just like right here from my sunglasses and my glasses that just irritated right here. But it's not highlighting any of that. It just glides over it. It almost minimized it. That deep breath was for the fact that it's $110, and I don't regret the purchase. And that's bananas, in my opinion. Overall, I am unfortunately really impressed with this product. And when I first tried it and I blended it with my fingers I liked it. Then I was like, but I feel like it could be better. So I blended it with a brush and I was like, oh, okay. I used my usual kind of fluffy brush technique with it. It was fine. It looked really nice. But then when I went on with a dense brush, like a more kind of compact brush, where's the one I used? Oh, here. I fell in love. It's so beautiful. I'm gonna throw up. You know what I mean? I'm actually shocked at how stunning this is. And this is definitely something that, even though it's more skincare-esque, that I would wear on, don't get mad at me. I would wear it out at night. Don't get mad. I know. I would powder it for going out at night, but I would wear it out at night. I'm going to powder it also in this video just so you can see how it sits with powder on top of it. What I am going to do is I am going to do a full face of makeup. It's all going to be with Victoria Beckham Beauty products that I've talked about before, but I'm going to do a full face of makeup and then we're going to come back. I'm going to give final thoughts and all that jazz, and then we're going to go and compare and contrast to the Westman Atelier, which I know I'm going to get questions about because I know you know I love that foundation, that complexion drop. So I'm going to do my full face makeup and then we're going to be right back. Makeup's on. What do you guys think of the look? Let me talk you through what I use because I know I'm going to get some questions. So first bronzer I used is the Victoria Beckham Beauty Bronzing Brick. I have two shades here because I have a problem. In the shade 4. So I used this one and then I used that also on my lid and dragged it down. Then for blush, I used the Victoria Beckham Beauty blush in this shade. This is the shade Mini Skirt, which I have been loving right now. It's just so beautiful. I also have the shade Playground, which you guys have heard me talk about a lot. Then for a little bit of bronzer on the nose, I used the Victoria Beckham Beauty Contour Stylist in the shade Sandstone, I believe. Yeah, Sandstone. I really like this. This is great for even on the lid or dragging under the eye, but it's nice for contouring or adding just some bronze to your nose in kind of a really controlled, precise way. Then for all over the lid, I used, on top of the bronzer, I used the Victoria Beckham Beauty eyeshadow stick in the shade Shroom. Is it Shroom or Mushroom? In Shroom, and I kind of put that all over my lid. And then in the corner of my eye, I used the Victoria Beckham Beauty eyeshadow stick in the shade Oyster, and I just love it. Then for not mascara, for eyeliner, I used the Victoria Beckham Beauty eyeliner in the shade Black, and I did a little bit on my eye line here just to darken it up a bit and add just a touch of smoke. And then also I placed a little bit on the outer edge here, smudged that out. Then for mascara, I used this one. This is the Victoria Beckham Beauty Vast Lash. I love this mascara. And then all over the lips, I have Victoria Beckham Beauty in the shade 04 with just like a lip balm on top. I just love this. This is definitely my most repurchased lip liner and my most complimented. Even though on the monitor, every time this shade doesn't come across as it does in person, it's not quite as warm looking or as, I don't know how to explain it. It is more of a neutral tone, at least on me. It doesn't pull up across quite as warm or as kind of pinky. It's still pink, but it's not quite that pink. Anyways, what do you guys think of the final look? Now, what I wanted to do is that I didn't do is I wanted to powder, and I wanted to powder on camera with you guys. So I don't necessarily love the concealer with a lot of powder. I like to go in with a very light hand of powder under the eyes, but I do enjoy powdering the foundation. At first I was nervous because I don't like powdering the concealer as much. And I'm just going to take the, do you see it smoking? The Mia Collet setting powder. And this is just in the translucent shade. And I'm going to get a little bit on the brush, not too much. Oh my God, my dog's hair is everywhere. And I'm going, and she doesn't even really shed that much. Why is pet hair always everywhere? Always. Anyways, and I'm going to do my T-zone mainly. And this type of powder, I have to find a nice alternative since obviously Amicole is now out of business officially and no longer selling their products. And I don't always want to talk about stuff that is kind of discontinued or no longer available because that's just rude. What do I do here? We're going to do a touch under the eyes, but again, very lightly. We are powdered. Now I'd love to know what you think of just the way the actual foundation looks with powder on top. What do you think of the coverage? All that jazz. Now let's get into kind of the final breakdown of the Victoria Beckham Beauty foundation. So I have the foundation here. I applied the shade 10, and that's definitely of the two shades that I have the best shade. It is of course $110, but again, it has that patented ingredient, the TFC8. Is TFC8 or TC? No, I nailed it. I was right. TFC8 from Augustinus Batter, and it is a collab with them. It has nice light to medium coverage, doesn't highlight really anything. So no texture, no dryness, no fine lines, anything like that. Again, I don't have pores, really like big pores, so that isn't something that for me would be an issue, but I can imagine that it would also highlight those with the fact that it doesn't cling to any texture or anything like that. It just kind of blends over everything. I don't know if I just said that, so I'm going to just say this again. Light to medium coverage. It looks like the most skin-like. It's one of the most skin-like products I've used, where it just looks like nothing is on your face, but your skin looks fire. It's just, this is I really, really enjoy this product. You get 30 milliliters, which is great. That is very much the standard for foundations, which is very different from the concealer, which gives you a nickel amount. Like, it gives you no amount of product, but it is a beautiful concealer. So I'm really happy that this is kind of the milliliter amount is kind of the standard amount that you see in most foundations and concealers and skin tints and products like that. So overall, I am a really big fan of this, and I do think there are a lot of people that will enjoy this product and will find it worth it for them. And a very little bit of this goes a long way, which is nice. Again, I only used 3 drops on my face, and honestly, the 2 drops was fine, but I wanted you to see how it kind of layered up. I feel like the complexion just looks amazing. I have Victoria Beckham Beauty products on top of it, and I mean, you have to tell me what you think of the complexion and how everything looks, because normally I do get very dewy in my T-zone. I am in hot studio lights, and I feel like that is not even on the radar. I set with a little bit of powder, but not too much. And overall, it wears beautifully. It, in my opinion, definitely gives you that 12-hour wear. And, again, has 19 shades. I do feel like they could probably pepper in some more shades, because I do feel like the jump from some of the shades, there's like bananas, which I'm sure she will add more shades as time goes on, but I am a fan of it. And they have a great return policy, which is great, a great exchange policy, which is great. So you can return it if you do purchase it, and for whatever reason it doesn't work for you, or you end up feeling like it's not worth it. It's definitely something you can return. If you feel like you got the wrong shade, you can always exchange for a different shade. That's what I did, and it was very easy to do, and I was very happy with how quickly I was able to get the correct shade. And yeah, overall, good things to say. Now let's move on to the Westman Atelier, dropping things left and right. The Westman Atelier, their complexion drops. I have the shade X in this, is my true shade. I also have the foundation in this shade as well. I want to do a compare and contrast of the two shades. I would say that the Westman Atelier, in terms of shade, is the better match for me. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes you're so used to shades looking a certain way on you that when they don't look exactly like that, you're like, oh, it's not a good shade match. But then when you actually look at it kind of compared to your hands or your arms, whatever it is that you're kind of comparing, trying to match to, it actually ends up being perfectly fine. So these are the two shades here, just in the dot. So on over here, we have the Victoria Beckham Beauty, and you can see it's a little bit more liquidy. And then you have the Westman Atelier. And I just wanted to just swatch them out for you, just so you can see the difference there. So we have the Victoria Beckham Beauty on the far side, and then the Westman Atelier on this side. Make sure you can see. There you go. And they're both meant to be neutral undertones. I do feel like the Westman Atelier one is more neutral, in my opinion at least, whereas it does seem like at least sitting next to each other, the Victoria Beckham Beauty one skews a little bit more on the pink side. But when I blend them both out side by side, I should do a half and half. I know I've done it before, look, because then when I blend them out, they look pretty similar. I should, you know what, I'll do shade 9 as well, just so that you can see. And I'll do it on the other side of the Victoria Beckham, the Westman Atelier one, just so you can see. So over here, and I'm just going to do that. So this is definitely more golden, just so you can see the difference between all the shades. So the Westman Atelier one is in the middle. Oh, focusing on the wrong thing. There we go. What do you guys think of the shades? Do you agree that the Westman Atelier one seems a little bit more neutral, at least from my perspective, or what I'm used to neutral kind of looking like, than the Victoria Beckham Beauty shade 10. Now, back to the Westman Atelier. This is also 30 milliliters. It's $68. I do find that it also is a light to medium coverage product from my experience. This one definitely is more on the dewy side by the end of the day, especially. I would say that not a slip and slide by any means by the end of the day, but this is one, the Westman Atelier one is one that I definitely like to powder more than I do the Victoria Beckham Beauty one. I find that they are both like very skincare focused items. Again, the Victoria Beckham Beauty has that ingredient, but they're both very skincare focused products. So they're kind of a hybrid, which I love. I love products that kind of just give me all the things, you know? But again, by the end of the day, I am definitely more dewy in my T-zone, but I don't find that the Westman Atelier clings to anything, at least on me. It doesn't highlight any fine lines. It doesn't highlight any pores, or again, I don't really have pores, but any pores, any dryness, it kind of just glides over everything, which is really nice and gives me a very beautiful, flawless complexion. And of course, I've been using the Westman Atelier a lot longer than I have the Victoria Beckham Beauty, since the Victoria Beckham Beauty one just came out. But I do find that because I wear the Westman Atelier one year round, I haven't had the chance to be able to wear the Victoria Beckham Beauty one year round, but I would also think that it would be one that would work really well throughout the entire year. I would say that if you have oily skin, and you don't powder, do not get this. That would be bananas. No. But I also think in general, if you want your makeup to last throughout the day and last well throughout the day, just find a lightweight powder that you can just powder a little bit. It doesn't have to be something that's like an intense, super aggressive powder that just sucks all the moisture out of your skin. But just a little bit of powder goes a long way in even just making your makeup last and look good all day. Overall, I really like both of them. And I think between the two, color-wise, I prefer the Westman Atelier one. Price-wise, I also prefer the Westman Atelier one. However, overall product-wise, I do think I prefer, and we'll see how it goes the longer that I'm using it, because again, sometimes when products are new, you gravitate towards them more. But right now, I do prefer the Victoria Beckham Beauty one a little bit more. Just because I feel like, although both look like nothing on the skin, I do feel like the Victoria Beckham Beauty one just, I don't know how to explain it. It's something that I do feel like It just looks so much like skin. And the Westman Atelier one looks like skin. It looks like nothing on the skin as well, but because it is more on that dewy side, I do feel like it looks less so like skin just because of the finish. Does that make sense? But they're both stunning products, and the price point difference here is bananas. It's like $40 or something. I don't feel like I did that math right, but someone will correct me and say the real difference. But I really enjoy both of them, and I think that in summer I might grab the Victoria Beckham one a little bit more just because it dews up slightly less on me than the Westman Atelier one. But these are both, at least from what I think with this one, they are both year-round products for me, and I really, really enjoy both. Right now, again, I'm really jazzed about the Victoria Beckham Beauty one. Not jazzed about the price, but I am jazzed about the product itself. And I do think that depending on your skin type and really what type of finish you like, you might really prefer the Westman Atelier over the Victoria Beckham Beauty one. Even though they're both very hydrating and very comfortable to wear, the Victoria Beckham Beauty one is more liquidy, so it's slightly thinner, but they're both blend into what, like, so lightweight on the skin. They blend into, honestly, it feels like nothing on the skin. But because the Westman Atelier is slightly thicker, it feels slightly less lightweight, but it's both are so lightweight. It feels, honestly feels like nothing on the skin. It doesn't feel like really you're wearing anything. The difference between the shade range here is the Victoria Beckham, it's the difference of one. So Victoria Beckham Beauty has 19, Westman Atelier has 10. And yeah, that's it for this video. That is it for my kind of breakdown of the new Victoria Beckham Beauty foundation drops. I would love to know down below, have you tried it? If you have, what are your thoughts? Do you kind of agree? I would love to know down below what your thoughts are. I honestly didn't think I was going to like it as much as I do, but that in general with Victoria Beckham Beauty products is always the case. I always go into it and I'm like, we'll see. And then I'm like, okay. You put your foot in that, and it's real good. But I would love to know what your thoughts are down below. If you're interested in it, let me know down below. What are your thoughts on the shade range, actually, for the Victoria Beckham Beauty, their foundation drops? I do feel like they could be a little bit better, just in my opinion. I do prefer the Westman Atelier, their shade range line, a little bit more. But you let me know what you think down below. I would love to know. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.